let's come to the manifestos. Why there's a need to keep explaining aspects of the manifestos to citizens. As Chachi Carter said the other day, that political parties will need to explain the manifestos and tell us how they are really going to implement them. Because I believe to be able to vote for the right party, you need to have enough knowledge about what the political parties are offering you so that you can make an informed decision. And I think this is how a proper democracy should be functioning. It is not only the electorate. Sometimes even the flag bearers will need to be taught their manifestos so that they can understand them properly. Because apparently from the explanation we are getting every day trickling in, some of the flag bearers do not even understand their very manifesto they've presented to Ghanaians. A good example is the NDC flag bearer. When he came out to say that NDC 24 hours economy would be implementing what he calls 24 hours nightclub. You ask yourself, what is a nightclub? Does a nightclub open 24 hours? It's called nightclub rightly because the name even tells you what it is. It's meant to be done in the night. Do you understand that? So if you were to say a club, that would even be better. If you say a nightclub, it tells me, do you really understand what a nightclub is? The next one is banks. Banks are already operating 24 hours in a sense that they don't have to be physically open. They open and close, then technology will take over. Some people, banks are even shutting down branches because the cost of running them is very high. Because most of the services they offer, people can already do them from home. You don't need to visit your branch. Do you understand that? You don't need to visit. So there are certain things that will be taken over by technology. Or, what do they call it? Most of the things they talk about in a 24 hours economy, for example. Is it government that make decisions or business will make decisions to open 24 hours based on business needs? I believe what they should be talking about is creating the enabling environment to expand the private sector so that individuals will be able to make decisions whether I will need to open long hours or not. And that is how it's done elsewhere.
It's the same.
Eh?
It's the same.
So it's misleading to just say that we are creating 24 hours economy. It is misleading to the viewer to just say.
If you create the enabling environment for businesses to take advantage, how will you term it?
In that case, it's not a 24 hours policy. In that case, all the political party, the MPP, is already doing so. Especially with our manifesto, creating a manifesto for jobs and business.
Then you force me to ask you the question that the NPP is also not being consistent, because when you have Dr. Bawumia saying it is not possible to run a 24-hour economy, and then yet at the same time, most of the communicators...
He doesn't say the whole thing.
Yes,
we already have a 24-hour economy.
We have different videos of him saying different things about 24 hours economy, right? So at one point he says the NPP is already implementing, or 24-hour economy is already running in this country. Then at another point he says it's not possible. Then what are you saying?
It is always possible. I don't think the same Bawumia will be inconsistent.
I think as far as Bawumia
is concerned,
at some point he says it's not possible.
I think his slogan is actually it is always possible. But what I'm saying is that I think the point he's making is that it is not everything that is worth opening 24 hours. What sense does it make to open the Ministry of Finance 24 hours or Ministry of Trade? What sense does that make? Which country do they open them 24 hours? But it makes sense to have a hotel that operates 24 hours. But it is not a government that decides for hotels whether to open 24 hours. It's a business need decided by the proprietors of the hotel. And it depends on where you are. If you are in Accra, you are operating 24 hours. It makes sense that if you are in Wale Wale or some aspect of maybe Kumbungu or some Navurungu, where there is no clients.
But do you agree that there are some businesses not operating 24 hours, not because there's no demand for it, but because they are unable, there's not the enabling environment for that business to thrive within 24 hours.
So when we say enabling...
But it can actually run 24 hours. So for example, they use the what's it called, the passport office as an example.
Yes.
Why can't we run passport office for 24 hours?
Yes, so for example, there could be a demand for passports.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to even be the office. Maybe the operational sector where they are actually printed. And I won't be surprised if they are not already open in 24 hours.
They are not.
Where they print.
They are not.
I wouldn't know. Do you know?
Have you gone to the passport office weekends before?
I have never been to the passport office here.
Oh.
You see that?
You don't have a Ghana passport?
No, I have a Ghana passport, but you don't have to be physically present in the Ghana office here.
How did you take your pictures and your biometrics?
Oh, most of my Ghanaian passport, I've had it in the UK. And the time that I first had my Ghana passport, around 1998, we didn't.
You didn't have biometrics?
No, you just needed to fill the form and send it away. But what I'm saying is that I don't know whether they don't print it 24/7, but I'll be surprised if printing is not on continuous basis. So there's a need to continuously educate citizens on the manifestos and what it holds for them. Some of them are very misleading. Citizens are able to ask pertinent and important questions. And if they are not answered properly, that tells you as to whether the NDC is actually a pace setter. I mean, we know that is not true.
Okay.
You are not even the first person to release your manifesto. That's why you are an opposition. An opposition party should have actually been the first to release it, because you are supposed to tell Ghanaians that you are government in waiting and that you are ready, your IDS is ready. How do you wait till a government release, a party in government release a manifesto? Then you release yours. Then you call yourself a pace setter. What kind of pace is that? I told the election we are going to, the most important thing is a manifesto. And if somebody is releasing it before you, that person is actually a pace setter. And then following that, the NPP, this is a flag bearer, had a press engagement to explain further what is in the manifesto. And even before the manifesto is released, he had a meeting at the UPSA where he has given us a snapshot of what is likely to be. I remember I was present there, and I remember him talking about the E-levy will be scrapped. Now he has been. We are told that the E-levy was copied from the NDC. How does that been copied from the NDC? If somebody said, I'm going to scrap it.
Because the NDC said it first.
But have you checked your records? That the vice president, before E-levy was introduced, he advised his opposition to a possible levy on that particular sector. There is records.
Is that to say that the vice president was not in support of the E-levy?
I suspect he wouldn't have been, because I've not actually...
Okay, his spokesperson was on this platform.
Okay.
Gideon Boako.
Yes.
And attested to the fact that the vice president is in support of the E-levy.
He would say that. Let me explain to you why. In constitutional law, we have what we call a principle of collective responsibility. If you go to cabinet make a decision. Whether you are in support or not, you are deemed to be in support of it because of collective responsibility. It will be unethical for the vice president to come out to speak his opposition to what cabinet has decided.
So you are now actually making it clear to us that the vice president from the beginning has never been in support.
In the beginning, he was never. There was. I mean, he has made statements. And in fact, when the E-levy was being debated on, people were playing it. The NDC were playing what the vice president said before it was. I don't know what is in the vice. Let me make this clear. I don't know what is in the vice president's mind as to whether he opposed the E-levy that was implemented or not. I don't know what was agreed in Parliament. But we can give your statement that immediate engagement with the public when he became the flag bearer to say that he would scrap it. I don't think so. And it's also a fool who doesn't change their mind. So having implemented the E-levy, if it turned out that the way he saw it, let's assume he even supported it from the beginning, then after his operation for a few months, he realized that, look, what we thought it was going to work, it's not working. I'm going to withdraw it. It's only a fool who will not change their mind when the evidence is very clear. Can that be called copying? Another aspect, he tried to give us here, and other people have said that training 1 million youth on digital. It's also a copy work because they mention coding.
In their 2020 manifesto.
Yes, they mention coding. And then perhaps 1 million is also mentioned. 1 million coding and 1 million digital skills. Is coding and digital skills one and the same? Coding is a subset of digital skills. Digital skills is much more comprehensive. So is it the digital skills is said to be a copy work or the coding? So frankly speaking, the two are not the same. One is a subset of the other. Now, is it the 1 million that we cannot think of, that we have to copy the word 1 million? I mean, so you can see that some of the charges are very frivolous. That if you want us to take you seriously as a government in waiting, some of those things you just have to ignore them. Otherwise, you will probably make our listeners to think they are foolish. And I think that is one of the reasons why the NDC is not going to make impact in this election come 7th December. Because they are not seen to be, they have to be seen to be serious, and proposal they put forward, they really need to explain it proper. Especially their proposal to introduce free university education for first year level 100 students. Stress-free. Yes. I mean, were they not the very party? I don't know. 1999, 2000. It was the NDC that introduced what they call cost sharing. And there was a huge struggle of students with the NDC during the Rawlings era. I was a student of tertiary institution by then. We said it wasn't workable, it wasn't appropriate. And they said the burden on government was too much. We needed to take up cost sharing, that parents and government has to share cost. And again, they were the very party that introduced utility bills, asking students to pay utility bill. Not long ago, they said the burden on government was too much to provide allowances for teachers training students and nursing training students. Just because of political convenience, they realized that we have introduced free senior high school, and it's actually working. They jumped on it and said they were the very party that introduced it first, and when that failed, then they are introducing this gimmick of free level 100. When they knew deep down that it's not a policy they are able to carry out, and even if they are going to carry it out, I believe as a universal lecturer, they are going to underfund us, and that will really be a problem.